Guys, so this is week 2, lesson 2 on personal finance. Now this is the fourth time I've recorded this, so hopefully, cross fingers, we'll get to the end of it and my laptop will not freeze and start being absolute bonkers. So just bear with me. If it freezes, I will stop and try and kind of reload it. So lesson 2 is all about, do I need a bank account? So it's looking at different types of banking, services that are on offer, and kind of the choices you will make. So looking back at last week, just a little bit of a recall, we were looking at different ways to pay. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to answer starter activity, 2 quick questions. What is the difference between credit and debt? And also, what are the 5 main ways to pay? So it's just a quick definition of what credit is. What do you think, or how would you explain debt to me? And what are the 5 main ways to pay? Okay, so the answers are: credit is where you've got a positive balance. So when you're putting money into your account, you're making a credit, so it's positive, it's adding it up, it's going into a positive. And obviously debt is where you've got a negative balance. So if you've got a debit card, you might not necessarily be negative in your bank account, but it is taking it away. So debt is where you've got a negative balance. The 5 different ways to pay are credit card, debit card, check, cash and online. But remember, when you are buying online or purchasing online for goods and services, that you will need to have a card for this, whether it's a debit card or a credit card or another type of card. Okay, so just to introduce the kind of introduction into banking and what it's about, there's a 2-minute little clip on the video. So if you put in the NatWest My Money Sense video clip address, which is just here, it takes, I think it's just over 2 minutes actually, 2.5 minutes, something like that. I just want you to listen to it. You don't need to necessarily write anything down. It's just an introduction into banking. Okay guys, so this is take 7, so hopefully we can get through the PowerPoint. Right, okay, so moving on, we need to look now at different types of bank accounts and also look at the services that are offered by banks. So how will a bank account help you when you are older and actually now? So I would say probably majority of you have got some kind of form of bank account, and it normally is used for saving. I do know that quite a lot of you now have or are starting to look at accounts where you've got kind of like a chip and pin card, or you can have an automatic payment card, okay, like contactless. Okay, so as you get a little bit older and you start getting a job, whether it's a part-time job or a full-time job, then you will need to have your money paid into a bank account. Also, you need to decide as you get a little bit older where you're going to live. So it might be that you go into rented accommodation for a certain number of years and you start saving up for your own house. But once you've done that, you'll need to actually get a mortgage. So again, you would need to have a bank account to show that you know how to use a bank account. You can manage your money. They can look at how much money you are spending, how much money you're earning, and then they will decide whether or not you are eligible for bank loans or mortgages or credit cards. Okay. So if you had £100, what would you do with it? Now, people would do different things because we're all different. We've all got different kind of like wants and needs, and also for me, different responsibilities. So if I had £100, I would probably just keep it in my purse, because on a weekly basis, I would say quite easily I would be able to use that money to pay for petrol, to pay for bus passes, or buses for my kids to get to school, things like lunch money, going to get some food shopping, maybe go and buy an item of clothing or something that maybe bits and bobs that the children need. So yeah, and paying for kind of like clubs and activities and things like that. You might have a completely different idea of what you would do with it. Okay, so why banking is useful. Now you guys need to write these down, write them in your notes, at least 3 or 4 reasons why you think banking is useful. I'm not saying you've got to write all of them, but do kind of think about the ones that you'll find a bit easier to recall next week. So things like keeping your money safe is the easiest one. It won't get damaged or it won't get lost. easy way to receive money like wages, or if people want to pay you some money, like, I don't know, if your parents want to give you pocket money, they could put that into your bank account, or if you get birthday money, people can transfer that into your bank account as well. Paying bills regularly, so setting up like a direct debit, so your bills get paid on the same day every month, so you never miss a payment. So I've got things like my phone bill, you have things like your mortgage, your gas, your electric, your mobile phone. It might be things like, for me, union fees. There's lots of different kind of regular bills that people need to pay. Also, you can save up, so you can have, 2 or 3 different accounts. You can put money into one account and transfer it over. You've got things like online banking, you've got mobile apps, you can look at your statements online. Banking is useful because it looks at, at how much money you're spending, and also where you're spending it, how you're spending it, and also looking at, how much money you're getting paid as well. So it's helping you to manage your money as well. Okay, so services that are offered, so things like current accounts, that's the thing that we've all got at the moment. Borrowing money, so bank loans, credit cards, savings, home insurance, cars, travel insurance. Looking again at these prepaid currency cards, so if you go abroad, you can get either some traveller's checks, you can get as a physical cash, or you can buy a prepayment card. Looking at mortgages, so we're looking at buying a house. Again, we've just said paying bills, so direct debits, and also looking at your mobile phone apps as well. They are brilliant. I use mine all the time. At least 2 or 3 times a week I would use mine as well. So again, what I'd like you to do is, I would like you to pause this. I'd like you to write down at least 3 or 4 that will remind you of what you need to be able to do next week. So if I said to you what the service is offered by a bank, 3 or 4, you'd be able to do them off the top of your head. Okay, so now we need to be looking at which account should I choose. Now, this will depend on your age, your circumstances in terms of kind of like your income, your expenditure. It might also be looking at the different wants and needs that you've got in life and the different responsibilities, maybe the different kind of stage that you're at your life. So different accounts will be different for different people depending on what they want it for. So this is where you need to be looking at writing this information down. Now, I'm pretty sure that I gave you this in your fact book, okay? So it's just a matter of making sure that you understand the different types of accounts that are available. Basic account is a thing that you will have. So it's a current account, you'll have no overdraft fee or a checkbook. So it's very similar to the current account, but your basic account doesn't allow you to spend more money than you've got, write checks, but it allows you to pay money in, and it might, nowadays it will offer you like a debit card, so you can get money out from the ATM machine, the hole in the wall, the cash machine in the wall, and also so you can pay for things when you're in shops. A current account is the same as a basic account in the way it works. You can have money going in your account, but you can have money going out of your account, paying direct debits, standing orders. You can have a chip and pin card or contactless card. You can have an overdraft facility if you're over 18. You can apply for bank loans through it. You can apply for mortgages through it. So actually it's probably the account that is the most common account, I would say. Your parents will have one of these. I've got one of these. My kids have got a basic account, probably like you. Then we've got savings accounts. Now there are loads of different savings accounts, but the basics of savings accounts are where you put your money in place and it stays there. You will earn interest on it. So if you keep it in there, the longer you save it, the more interest you get. The more you save, the more interest you get. They pay you money on top of your money. It's a reward for saving. Now you've got ISA accounts, you've got cash ISAs where you don't have to pay any tax, where you can put so much money in per year and you don't get taxed on it. So it depends on when you want to take your money out. So you can have a normal savings account where you can easily access it, so you can go and get it whenever you want. They'll have a lower interest rate. There may be another savings account where you get slightly more interest, but you might have to give them like so many days notice, like 5 or 7 days notice. So all the savings accounts have different kinds of criteria as to, well, it depends on what you want it for, really. Student accounts, you'd have one of these if you go to college, you go to university. It's the same as a current account, but it means that you don't actually have any charges on your account, so you don't have to pay for your account. You'll get a free overdraft facility. You'll get some free extras for opening accounts. Sometimes you get kind of like vouchers. You might get kind of discount card, things to incentivize you to actually use that bank account. You'll get a debit card with it. And also you can get things like, so you've got an overdraft facility and you have got your student account. They sometimes give you maybe 1 or 2 years after you finish your university or college to pay off your overdraft facility. So they try and keep you using their bank once you actually get into full-time employment. So what you need to do is, I would suggest that you highlight in your fact book probably maybe 2 or 3 from each account, 2 or 3 different points that you'll be able to remember. So if I say to you next week, okay, what is in a basic account, or give me 2 things that a student account might have, or 2 or 3 things that a current account would have. So try and look at the ones that you think you'll be able to recall the easiest. Okay, so write those down or highlight those down now. Okay, so this way you're going to do a little bit of an activity. So you can either print this off or you can just freeze this. But you've got 3 different scenarios. You've got Jenny, Ruby and Khalid. They have got 3 different things that they want you to do. So Ruby is 14, Jenny's 11, Khalid is 13. He's got a newspaper round and earning money. Ruby has got parents that want to give her a monthly allowance. Jenny's got a birthday coming up. So they've got 3 different scenarios. What you need to be doing is looking at the 3 different bank accounts. You've got First Saver Plus and the Plus Current. You need to look at the different scenarios and you need to decide which one do these need to have. Now there's a little bit of a template if you go over now, if you can see. So I've given you a little template that says you've got to tell me which account it is, why you've recommended it. So you think it's correct because, or you think they should have this account because, and every time you make a point as to why you think it's good, you need to link it back to their scenario. So I would suggest you probably have a couple of things or a couple of reasons for each one. It's going to take you about 15 minutes. So I'm going to pause it and then I'm going to go back to it for the final activity that you need to do. Okay, so now you've got a little bit of basic information about the accounts and you've applied it to a scenario. You need a little bit more research task for me. You can either use the bank that you've got now, so just say you've got an account at HSBC or Lloyds or Barclays. I would like you to go onto Google and have a look and see what is offered at those banks. What different accounts have they got? What different services do they have? So you only need to pick one. You can either use your own bank or you can pick one of the following. So HSBC, Lloyds, Barclays, Royal Bank of Scotland or Santander, and you need to basically find out and tell me what do these banks offer. Okay, so you need to just make some notes. Just do it on kind of like either paper or you can type it up, you know, kind of like on a slide PowerPoint if you want to. I don't mind how you do it. You just need to have a look and see what things are available at the bank of your choice, either the one that you use or a different one if you're interested in looking at a different one. Okay, so this is the last activity and it's a bit of an extension activity. Depending on how long it's taken you to complete the activities already, you can create your own television advert. So you need to include in your advert a title, advantages for choosing the different options that you're going to advertise. So you might be advertising the services that you offer. It might be a particular bank account that you offer, or a credit card or a mortgage, and you're going to tell me the advantages of choosing this particular option and why businesses or people or customers should buy into it and actually use you rather than a different bank. Use persuasive language, use a little bit of humour. You could just do an advert about how people can keep their money in a bank account or in a savings account, or you know why you shouldn't be keeping it at home. So just create a TV advert about banking. I really don't mind. If you want to look at insurance and why it's important to have insurance, you can use that as well, or foreign exchange. I don't mind. That needs to be done obviously for next week, and then I'll go through it with you and just have a little bit of a highlight of the things that we've done this week, check a little bit of understanding and knowledge. We are now at the end of the lesson, so thank you very much for taking part. It has taken about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to record it, but it's fine. We got there in the end. Keep safe, have a good week, and I'll speak to you next week.